A very good morning, Team Zimbabwe. Mamukase. Welcome to African Beyond Television Network. My name is Ronald Wekwakusha. So, from the observations, from whatever which is happening in the politics of Zimbabwe, it's clear that people are bracing up for a court challenge, and there are so many details which are available for a court challenge anytime from now. This is Advocate Fulcrum. He opened very important issues here and asked questions and said, did you tell the CJ about this inauguration? Did he agree that it could be planned within 7 days of the declaration of results? Did he say he would attend and officiate? If a petition is brought, will he sit to deal with it and thereafter officiate at the inauguration? These are questions being asked by Tabani Mpofu, Advocate Fulcrum, and very pertinent questions here because some of the things I have heard are that the inauguration was planned prematurely. Others are suggesting that they were supposed to wait for the 7-day period to lapse and be certain that no court challenge will be there for them to be able to actually deal with this matter and go forward with the inauguration. So at this moment in time, it shows that consultations were not made, consultations were not done with the Chief Justice in terms of preparations of about the inauguration and how it should happen. So these are the questions being asked here by Advocate Fulcrum. And key issue is that he asks that if a petition is brought, will he sit to deal with it and thereafter officiate at the inauguration? This shows that indeed there is a greater possibility of having the court papers being filed anytime from now. So it's a very interesting team Zimbabwe that a lot of people are warming up for the court challenge, and Tim Pachedu also brought something which is also similar because they are also following this situation, and they said Mnangagwa is so desperate. He set inauguration date on Monday when the deadline to submit an election petition is on the same date according to section 3362 of the Constitution. The inauguration will be null and void if an election petition is filed on Monday. And this is section 3362 of the Constitution. Take a look kuti inenge chimborevei section 336 of the Constitution. So I will try to check if we can have results of that section. Inobatika here. What does it mean in terms of Zimbabwean politics? So I'm trying to find it here, but I cannot. So I don't know what is happening with my network. Okay, but the bottom line, or what is being explained here, which is key, is that it is going to be very difficult for the inauguration to continue on Monday. We cannot say inauguration will continue to happen on Monday because of the issues being raised, the legal hurdles which lies ahead for President Emerson Mnangagwa. So yesterday, President Mnangagwa was officiating ku agricultural show in Harare, and some people were there, but some sources are saying he was only with the camp of Mohadi and VP. That has raised details regarding to that issue, but somebody raised an issue and said that it raises some eyebrows to suggest that the vice president was not there together with him. And if those allegations are true, what it means is it is going to be a very of Zimbabwe right now, because nyika kana ikashaya utungamiriri vanotambura vanhu, nyika kana ikaomerwa vanotambura vanhu. That is the reason why the leaders must be proactive and be sincere enough to deal with matters in time. This issue about electoral fraud or election theft in the nation of Zimbabwe was not supposed to be happening 43 years after independence. We were supposed to be doing our things in a more brighter way. If these people had allowed reforms in 2013, we would have dealt with these challenges. So here I'm trying to bring Section 3362 on this platform so that we check what are the contents of Section 336, and so that we don't do guesswork regarding important matters. So this is Section 331, 332 here. Let me try to go to Section 336 and see if I'll be able to find these issues being raised by Tim Pachedu here, because we have been taking a look on various issues being raised. Okay, 342, 341, 338, right. So let us go to this, because there is an argument which is very important in Zimbabwe. That is the reason why I have an interest regarding this section, because other people are suggesting that the petition is supposed to be, the deadline should be to, others are saying today, others are saying tomorrow. And we need to take a look on this section and see what is that section actually say in regard to the issue of elections, and is it going to have any impact on Triple C if they launch their petition on Monday, so that we know the strategic position being taken here. Let me put right here on the screen so that we deal with it together, right here on this platform. So let me put it right here on the screen. I'm putting the Zimbabwe Constitution right onto the screen so that we deal with real matters here. So yeah, my network is becoming slow, but I hope it will be here. Right, it's here. So let me try to do this. Right, I hope and believe that you are able to see. Okay, so this is Section 336, which is here right on the screen, as cited by Tim Pachedu, to say, let us expect the last day of filing of the court processes or the court application or this petition. They've placed it onto Monday. So we need to take a look onto this law and see what this law says. It says, in this constitution, whenever a period of days is expressed, A, to begin on or to be reckoned from a particular day, that day is not to be included in the period. B, to end or to be reckoned to a particular day, that day is to be included in the period. Okay, then the issue to begin, which means kana announcement, official announcement yakaitwa musi wa26. We don't count 26. We count 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 1, 2. That will be the lapse. But kana yakaitwa musi wa27 because of tighter crossover per midnight tapinda muna 27. What it means is we count 28, 29, 30, 31, 1, 2, 3, and the third will be the last day. Then let's go to 2, which has been cited by Tim Pachedu here. it says, subject to this constitution, whenever the time for doing anything in terms of this constitution ends or falls on a Saturday, Sunday, or a public holiday, the time extends to, and the thing may be done on the next day that is not a Saturday, Sunday, or a public holiday. So this is something which Tim Pachedu is bringing. But in my own view, can we rely on this section? It's a very difficult situation right now, because we have seen Zimbabwe Electoral Commission's calendar has been running without a weekend, has been running without Saturday, without Sunday. It has been running continuously during pre-election period and post-election period. We have seen their calendar running continuously to an extent where they had to announce results midnight on the 27th or on the 26th, 27th, there, somewhere there. I don't know the actual time, but it was close to midnight or midnight between 26th and 27th. So you'd see that if the announcement was made during that particular hour, it becomes difficult for us to base or to rely onto this section 336, because we know the people we are dealing with here. We know the kind of people we are dealing with. They are too playful, and they'll do whatever they want to make sure that they find justification of their actions. So my thinking is that there is no need for us to wait for Monday for us to file a petition. We need to do it way before, because if you go to the Constitutional Court, I believe that the registrar will be available to receive such cases. And also remember that there is now an electronic system. I don't know if it has extended to the High Court, to the from the High Court to the Constitutional Court. I don't know if the Constitutional Court is now able to access that electronic system, but I know that for sure that cases can be filed electronically using the electronic system, i.e. CMS, which was launched by the Judicial Service Commission. So you'd see, Kuti, yes, the argument is sound from Tim Pachedu, but honestly speaking, I believe that we need to deal with this matter in time. But basing from what Advocate Falkram had to say when we brought that issue on the screen, you would agree that he spoke much about a court challenge being likely to be launched anytime from now. And that is very, very important, because those questions are so critical, because the whole issue is about questioning whether the inauguration is going on or not. So, Panapa Aldo Fanzi, why as Zim people we don't take this in our own hands? We rather start killing. Okay. Adolf, we don't want to live in such a country where we will be haunted by these stories. Because remember, some of these ZANU-PF people, myself, I don't believe there is need for us to use such an approach. We need to note that we still have to be peaceful. We still have to be tolerant. Yes, we have to teach them. We have to educate them. We have to show them the importance of working with the people. We have to show them the importance of them having better reasoning capacities, the same way we have been reasoning. Panapa Malaba ndewa Mnangagwa muchanzwa zvichabuda ikoko. Okay, this is Agnes zvikanzi Malaba Mnangagwa one person. Okay, zvikanzi asi Mnangagwa uyu daka rake nesu nderei ngatinyareoka kunyarara hakusi kupusa. Okay, thank you very much, Solomon. And it's a very important question. This is psychology to pressure CCC to challenge results to court so that they lose. Denzel, the issue is not about winning or losing. The issue is about doing what is supposed to be done. I believe that we cannot go against this principle. We cannot leave out this principle. That is what I believe in. We have to exhaust and see what Chief Justice Luke Malaba and his team are going to say. Sometimes, in 2018, we didn't file enough evidence in time. And when we tried to bring in evidence about the V11s, we failed to do so because they didn't want to open that avenue to bring in new evidence. So this is the reason why we said, let us gather every piece of evidence together so that we are able to launch a court challenge. And launching a court challenge right now, it gives you power to exhaust other opportunities and other avenues, because you are buying time while you are preparing for other avenues. So you have to be strategic in terms of dealing with ZANU-PF. And I believe that taking these people to court is so strategic. So why going to court? This is why I look at this is what the outcome. We don't know the outcome. We are just working with the past. What happened in the past? Remember, there are limits to state capture. There are limits to state capture. There are moments where state capture will not work. So the court outcome is going to have the bearing on the next decision, which is going to be taken by the party, by the citizens, and by the institutions and other stakeholders, including the international community. So they will have to act using the bearing from the court outcome. So we cannot evade going to court. That is what I believe in. It's useless to vote. No, it's not useless to vote because we exercised our rights. We exercised our voice. We have to defend that right in court. We have to defend that right using the legal processes which are there. And if we fail to use the legal processes which are there, then we rope in the international community and see the way forward. So each and every process we went through was very important and necessary. And right now, remember that we are working for the liberation of Zimbabwe, which means we have to follow all processes. You don't just wake up one day, that child you love so much should go through processes, rigorous processes. These are the processes we are going through. And that I believe that this is how democracy is going to be birthed in Zimbabwe. We have gone so much, through so much in Zimbabwe, and this time we have to simply finish the few steps left for the people of Zimbabwe to have democracy, and for the people of Zimbabwe to start realizing their potential. Zvikanzi panapa kuenda kukoti kupedza nguva, Malaba ndozvaakadzosegwa sezvo anga asiyiswa basa. You know what, Achimwene? Malaba on his own, yes, he is the Chief Justice. But remember, kuti patiri kuenda kuConcourt this time, anenge asiri ega. Panenge pana Malaba apa. Panenge pane a full bench, a full constitutional court bench seated dealing with that matter. Which means the decision is not going to be of Justice Malaba only. The decision, Malaba is just going to read the judgment. That is what is going to happen. He is going to read the judgment. Remember that what happened yesterday is not what is going to happen today. So we just use the past for reference and for planning in time. We now know how the judiciary works. We now know how they evade justice. So by having that information, you can plan for a counter-offensive for the sake of exposing them. We need to expose these people, because if we don't expose them, they will simply have an excuse, equity, you never exhausted the legal remedies. So why are you crying? So you'd see, equity, you go to the streets tomorrow, people will be shot, they will justify themselves and say, vakaenda vanoprotesta vasina kuenda kuno exhausta legal remedies. How are you going to defend yourself when they say so? But if you exhaust the legal remedies, and you protest later, what it means is you have done the necessary, the needful, and they have shown that the institutions are captured, and you resorted to protests as a way to bring sense to the judiciary or to the authorities, or as a way of trying to send a message to stop state capture. That is very important for you to understand. Zvikanzi koti zeki zvese izvo ndezveZANU-PF Malaba rakamirira kurasa nyaya. This time around, it's difficult, it's different. It's not going to work in such a way. I don't believe Justice Malaba is going to go away with it or with this issue like what happened in the past. 2023 is a very difficult year for politicians. Even those who are rigging, it's a very difficult year for them. They are trying all things necessary for them to subvert the will of the people, but it's not working. That is the reason why we are saying one way or the other, they will not evade the court challenges. Kanza is the right way to go to court and let them be biased. That will continue exposing their dictatorship system. Yes, thank you very much, Godwin, for this contribution, and I agree with you. And it's good to exhaust all channels. We would have tried. Yes, Mike, that is very important also. Adolf, ZANU doesn't need law, and teaching this regime is wasting time. Okay, this is what you think, Adolf Mashaule. It wasn't an election of the ballot, but of the court as prophesied. Okay, this is theophantic. Okay, thank you very much for the contribution. Simba, Mkoma Simba, how are you? Sure, Jaipa, okay. Hanzi ndizvinoshamisa ndezvekuti Egarwe kuita kunge ndiye Mwari kuramba neZimbabwe. I'm very painful in my heart. If you read the Bible correctly, memory, you would understand that Pharaoh didn't release the children of Israel in haste. Pakatozosvika pakutofiwa nevana nematangwe kuti Pharaoh azodzinga vana vaIsraeri. So you have to understand kuti there are certain issues which are happening right now. The consequences must be faced by the people involved, and for them to face the consequences, there are certain actions they have to perform or they have to do. So their hearts have been hardened to a certain extent. But remember, Mugabe was untouchable, but Mugabe was deposed in days. So you'd see kuti every powerful person, every powerful dictator fell. One way or the other, dictators fall. So there is no guarantee that dictators will live forever and will rule forever. So we have to remain positive, and we have to know kuti there is time. You know, munozavana veZimbabwe chinhu chiri kutinetsa chinhu kana Mwari vakati Nelson Chamisa dheti rake rekutonga richatanga musi wa20 September. You will never have Nelson Chamisa on 19th September. You have him musi wa20. That is God. So Mwari kana vakakupai a debt, you have to deal with the debts. So ma-struggles esa tiri kuona aya, it's simply a way of trying to harden us kuti tisvike musi wedebt chairo rekuti mukomana apinde. So time frames are very important. It's like birth, it's like death. You don't go beyond except there is grace from God. So what you have to understand is whatever they've been doing, in 2018 I said this, Nelson Chamisa Dayaka declared president in 2018. He was not going to finish his term. Why? Imagine a government of Nelson Chamisa, Monzora ari paside, Kupe ari paside, Vana Komichi vari paside, Vana Mudzuri vari paside, very well involved, vari ma-ministers. Chese chikwata chiya chakazotiza chikaenda kuZANU-PF chiya, chiri icho chiri mugovernment. Imagine vanhu ivavo kuti vakanga vachizoita sei. Those were power-hungry people who were surrounding Advocate Nelson Chamisa. So I believe kuti God had to defer so as to remove some people, and those people were removed. How? they automatically joined ZANU-PF. Vese vakatiza vachiti opposition yafa. Right now, the opposition has been rejuvenated. They are regretting their actions. So you would see, Kuti, right now we have more better people than we had in 2018. So right now, I believe, Kuti, even if we are to have Advocate Nelson Chamisa as president, we have an advantage, and he's going to actually lead and deliver his mandate. Because another issue is vanhu vese vakaona kuti iyi hari yaora iyi, hari itsva yatakapiwa neZANU-PF yaora. They started to understand that there is nothing new which is going to come out of ZANU-PF. They started to understand that ZANU-PF will never produce honey. So izvozvo zvakaita kuti chero vanhu veZANU-PF vavhotere Chamisa. So you start to understand kuti this period kwatakuenda, nobody will be saying dai zvakadai, dai zvakadai. People will be knowing very sure and for sure kuti ZANU-PF is a failed entity, is a failed political organization, because they failed themselves. They are corrupt, they are looters. All the things which happened, kuzobuda kwema Al Jazeera documentary, the exposés, kusungana vachiregedzana kwavakaita, votaura kuti vana Mupfumira vari kurwara nepfungwa, later on is appointed a senator, she bounces back as a senator. All those issues have exposed the ZANU-PF. So we now know that going forward, we have been dealing with a cult, and nobody will believe ZANU-PF. That will be the end of ZANU-PF. And that will be the beginning of a fresh start, a country which is going to have a fresh government, a country which is going to have a fresh opposition political organizations, not ZANU-PF. So, yes, my brother, but ED gave these judges 400K. We cannot continue doing the same thing, expecting different results. Courts are not the answer. This needs to be settled on a political field. A political field will come after the court, because remember, this court will not sit for a month. These are just days. These are just days. And soon after, the court will have political options. This is the reason why we said, to those who listened to President Nelson Chamisa, he clearly indicated that we have so many options to this issue. But you have to do things step by step. What was step number one? Go to the election so that the will of the people is reflected. The will of the people was reflected. ZANU-PF stole the election. ZEC announced a result which they cannot verify, which they have refused to verify. That is step number one done. Step number two done. Step number three is now to go to court. If the courts decide to side with the ZANU-PF, then you actually rope in the international community with the international solutions. That is to bring a transitional government. That is to bring a government which is going to bring the necessary, the much needed reforms. Remember, in 2008, it happened. So right now, we need to do it, but do it differently. Not a GNU, but a transitional government. So if the courts decide not to side with the people, a transitional government will kick in, a transitional government will come in, and that will definitely force ZANU-PF out. So that is what I believe in, that is what I think. And thank you very much for the contributions, Team Zimbabwe. Your contributions are so valuable because you make us think outside the box. You make us see some things differently. We won't stop praying. That is memory. Thanks a lot for the Bible verse. Okay, thank you very much, memory, for the support. Azira Robson, Buroti, Putseke, Robega. Robson is here for insults. Okay. Robson is here for insults. And those no ones are going to. Okay, Anzi Robson in Dono paying Kasurim Zano. Court case then. Okay. Then if the courts decide to sign with ZANU-PF, okay, this is Ernest Zvikanzi, ZANU and ED must go. Yes, vese varifana kuenda. Muti unofana kudzurwa nemidzi yawo nemashizha awo zvese zvoenda mumoto. Zvikanzi nanano zvikanzi Mwari haadhakwe. Yes, I agree with you. So remember, Team Zimbabwe, with above all, we have God, and above all, we have time on our side. There is nothing to fear. We don't need to rush to do things because we have a lot of time to deal with matters. So step by step, tisiri kumhanya zvedu, hapana kwatiri kumhanyira. Vari kuda inauguration ndo vari kumhanya. Isusu chatiri kudai shanduko, and shanduko haigone kuuya in a day. We need to take it easy and be patient with the leadership. That is my last word. Be patient with the leadership as we look forward to have a new great Zimbabwe. So Team Zimbabwe, let us end it here and see what is going to happen next. So as I mentioned earlier, the court challenge is likely and certain because we are now entering onto the final push. Mnangagwa must go first, and this is not only Mnangagwa. This is together with ZANU-PF. They have to go because we are sick and tired of their shenanigans, and we have hope in God. And we hope and believe that God is going to inspire the people in the courts to make that much needed decision. Don't worry about pre-election decisions which are made by the courts. This time around, I feel and believe that something different is going to come. ZANU-PF never posted on its platform that is there's an inauguration. Zvakanyorwa nemahandlers eZANU, not ZANU-PF pachayo. Okay, this is a letter. There's a letter yakatumirwa kuma embassies which was informing them about the inauguration. That circular is the circular which notified everybody about the inauguration which has been planned. So Team Zimbabwe, thank you very much for the support. If you are new, please hit the subscribe button, and thank you very much for the contributions.